Hey, welcome to the next video. So let's go ahead and continue from where we left off. We need to wrap up scene 2, so let's go ahead and do that. In the last video we finished scene 2 and we also rendered out scene 2, so let's take a look at what we rendered. We can go into our matrix scenes. We have scene 1 and we have now scene 2. Okay, so now we have 2 scenes. Let's go ahead and take it into our editing software. So now we are inside of Shotcut. Okay, great. Now we need to import our next scene. So we're going to take scene 2, we're going to drag it into our editing software. And we're going to do the same thing to scene 2 that we did to scene 1. We're going to take scene 2, we're going to drag it into our timeline. And then we need to watch our reference video one more time to make sure we get the timing right. Okay, great. So let's see how good our timing is so far. Okay, so not bad. Our timing is pretty good. We're doing pretty good. You see, the more accurate your animation is in iClone, the less work you're going to have to do in post-production. So that's why I really emphasize the importance of making sure that when you're animating, you are really tightening up your timing and you're doing things. You spend a lot of time in iClone making sure your keyframes are tight and making sure that your animation timeline and the timing is right. Because when you take it into your editing software, you're not going to have to do much because you've already done all the hard work in your animation software. So this is good exactly how it is. We really don't have to do anything to it. Okay, so good. There's a little bit of lag in the playback, and that's just because I'm recording, okay? Okay, so great. Now we just need to add the director information. So what's going on in this scene? Well, in this scene, let's see. We need to tell the directors in Hollywood what cameras we used. So let's go to our scene. Let's select our cameras with close-up. Let's go to modify. And let's look at what we used. So in the first scene, we used a negative Super 16 film back. But in this scene, if you remember, we decided to go with the 35mm TV projection film back. And the lens, I think the lens was a 35. No, it was a 50. Was it a 50? It was an 80. Okay, 80mm. Okay, focal length. Okay, so we're gonna say the film back was 35mm TV projection. So if you remember, we're just gonna copy what we did here. Let's go to filter, select this clip, and let's see. So this is the one that we used, and I'm just gonna copy and paste. So Control C to copy, and I'm gonna come here and click on this clip, hit the plus sign on filters, make sure you're in the filters tab, hit the plus sign, and text. This software is not easy to use when it comes to text. I don't know why, but they just made it really hard for you to add text. So you have to really, it's really difficult. But it's a pretty good software and it's free. Okay, so now we've added this, and that's all you really need to add. And I would also add the time. Again, you want to add the time for each clip so that the director knows if they want to speed it up or if they want to slow it down when they're actually filming the real movie. Okay, so let's go to text, and we have the time here. If you like this format, you can leave it big. If you don't, you can make it smaller. Okay, so play it now. Okay, so there we go. I'm just gonna make this a little smaller. And of course, if you want to change the color of your text, you can easily do that. You know, it doesn't have to be white. It can be whatever you want. Just change the color, but I'm gonna leave it at white. It's more professional. So there we go. Okay, and I actually think maybe I will have this here. Okay, and let's deselect that and let's push play. Okay, so now we have some really important information, but we need to edit this because we're not using a negative Super 16 in this clip. We actually use the 35mm TV projection film back. So let's go and change that. We're going to edit that text. Which one was it? I think it was this one. Okay, so it's still 30 frames per second. We don't need to change that. We just need to change the film back to 35 mm. So it's 35 mm. Okay, TV projection. And what did we do? 80 millimeters, right? Yeah, it's 80 millimeters because we started off quite close actually. 80 millimeters. Okay, so let's do the playback. Okay, awesome. That's great. If this is too close to the edge, maybe we can do something like that. Bring it up a little bit. Okay, and so let's deselect. Okay, so this is how your previs is going to look, okay? And when you want to do things like add the black bars, you would come to video. When you click the plus sign and you're looking for effects to add, you can go to video and let's go to crop. I think crop should be somewhere. Okay, so crop. You have circle, source. I usually just go with source. And then you can do top. You can do something like that if you like this. And then play it back and see. Okay, so now you have something like that. Okay, so this is how you would start building your film. Okay, this is basically how to make a film. Practice is the key. Just be consistent. What I'm doing, if you just keep doing this, I made my first film, The Book of Revelations, by doing this. This is my workflow. Whenever I'm making a film or previs, I do it exactly like this. I go to iClone, I create the scene, I render it out. And as you can see, I render very short scenes. My scenes are not very long. I don't render 1 minute long scenes. I just go step by step, little by little. And I do it that way. Sometimes I have a scene that requires, you know, a long stretch, like if it's a speech, a very long speech. So I have scenes like that, where if a character is giving a long speech, you don't want to do that by rendering small bits of the speech. You want to render the whole speech in one take. So there are times when you will do everything in one take and it will be a very long scene, but then there are other times, like in the Matrix here, where you can tell that these are different takes, and so they're just cut together and edited very well. So this is one take, this is another take. This is another take. That's another take. Okay, so these are all different takes, and so with these different scenes, you want to make sure you render each one separately. It gives you more control when you're editing. Okay, so just little by little, step by step. Okay, great. So now we have 2 scenes edited, and that's how we're gonna make a movie, just like that, step by step. All right, guys, so in the next video, what we're gonna do is scene 3. This is scene 3, where they go from their hands being down to their hands being up, preparing to shoot Neo. And as you can see, the 2 agents who were previously facing that way are now turned around, and everyone is now facing Neo and ready to shoot Neo. So this is scene 3, and this is what we're going to be animating next. See you in the next video.